Welcome to the WoodsTalk podcast extra branch. Hey! How are you, sir? Can you hear me all right?
Can indeed.
Could you be a bit louder, a bit softer, a bit more?
No, stay on. Is this okay? I've only got the wee mic in my...
It's spot on. You sound delish, as always. You're looking very...
hungover as fucking my jammies, man.
Here, the Mickey Bartlett story. Here we go.
It's one of I bought this basketball top after I watched The Last Dance, thinking I'm going to look sweet wearing that.
Yeah.
And I look like a loyalist in Santa Ponza.
That seems to be the thing. Everyone watches The Last Dance and then they start doing that. But that seems to be the only documentary that's influenced people. So no one watched like Making a Murder and I'm getting a fucking fire pit. And
nobody watched the Madeleine McCann one and went, here's an idea.
I watched the fucking Chronicles of Narnia last week and then this haircut happened and that was me. So how are things? Anyway, how's your lockdown been? I've heard various things that you've just been kind of going out of your mind. That's why I wasn't even sure you'd do this because your podcasted out.
I think the last especially the last 3 weeks has been podcasting like fuck. It's as close as you can get to gigging. It's weird. I've been all right because I've been locked up with my parents, which is shit. But there's worse situations to be in. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Would they be high risk? I assume, or are they dead on?
High risk of me kicking the fuck out of them.
How long did it take before you started losing the rag?
1 week. I've been let you know here. I realized after the first week, my heart is filled with love for my family, but it's only 7 days worth. And then it's like Fight Club rules, doing like nobody's talking.
Is it a load of wee things or just one big thing? Or I think the wee things are worse because even in my situation, like me and Lisa are both working from home and gladly working, but like if someone had said to me in September when I got married, you see, within a year, you shall spend a lockdown together and every day, and you have to turn off the plugs when told to turn off the plugs, and you're not putting the shopping away correctly, and you're like, I'm going to stick my dick in a fucking shredder.
There's a thing where my ma, she'd done it before I'd sort of moved back home. I remember noticing it, and then it went away. But for some reason, every time I approach a door in the house, she just calls my name out.
That's sinister, man.
To the point where I've gone, look where I'm standing, like to her face, I'm going, look where I'm fucking standing in a doorway again, and you had to say fucking something. I can't walk from one room to another one. Like,
but being checked up on.
I remember the first week of lockdown, I went outside for a smoke, and it became this point where she, like, every time I moved, she would go, where are you going? And I'd be like, I'm going over there. You fuck. There's nothing open. I can't go anywhere.
Well, I nearly ended up in Strabane during the lockdown. I came back to Belfast from Strabane the night before it was official. So God knows what I'd be like if I was with the folks in Strabane. Because what do you reckon Lurgan's been like during lockdown? Was it what you expected, or was it just nothing really changed? Because it didn't really seem to change for Strabane. I still got videos of people in the bar at 5 a.m. Yeah. All that shit.
I didn't say any of that. I know somebody was telling me there was a bar in Lurgan where like they heard a bottle bank getting emptied one night and they were like, there, what are you doing? If that's true, and me as one of Lurgan's premier celebrities, if I haven't been invited to those lock-ins, I'll be fucking
raging. I don't know. It's like it didn't seem to. It did affect Strabane, of course it did. Like, but I just feel certain aspects of it didn't. When they said, "Oh, certain people are going to be furloughed," and I was like, "Who?"
Aye.
Like, yeah, can you
same thing here? Like, right? Nobody go to work. No bar.
no bother. Like, for Strabane, Lurgan, and various other places, the furlough thing didn't really affect fuck all because, from my experience, you can't really lick 80% of a window. What are you going to get the government to do the remaining 20% of the pain? House of pain.
Tax deductible.
Yeah, so it's weird. I think Strabane started to take it seriously when 99% of the bars did shut, even before they were told. They were like, we're not taking any chances. So people were like, oh fuck, we may get the Asda and get some 3 decks for 20 quid.
That was the thing. We panic bought fucking stout right at the, like when everyone else was getting past it and shit, we were like, they're going to close the off license, get around there, the fuck.
Yeah.
But that was one of the things too, whenever, because at the start when everybody was like panic buying pasta and bog roll,
Yeah.
I was being all righteous on Facebook, like, you need to stop fucking, this is consumerism, guys, this is capitalism, okay, stop panicking. Yes, there's a virus going around, but let's treat each other like human beings and get through this together. And then somebody's like, they've closed McDonald's, and I just picked the pencil up and fucked her through a shop window, like, fuck.
Have you been to McDonald's since this came back? You got like
today for the first time because I have a hangover, so I went and made a complete and utter pick of myself. I'm not gonna lie to you now, was I had a double cheeseburger and then a quarter-pound cheeseburger, large fries and mozzarella sticks, and a large Coke, and then I went to an ice cream place and got a big fuck off ice cream. I'm not gonna lie to you, Woodsy, as soon as this is over, I'm phoning Domino's.
That's a hectic day of eating.
So hungover, like.
Yeah, what was it? You see, one thing I say I don't prepare for these at all. I just kind of get people on and chat shite. But there's one thing I've been asking. I asked Ruth Curran, I asked Dave about it. I can't remember who else, but I'd like to get your take on it. Mm-hmm. What's your verdict on being house blocked? Like you've been blocked at someone else's house party or at your own house party, but just being blocked in the house. What's your take on all that? Because it's a different type of blocked, I think.
Man, do you know? Yeah, that's the bit that's kind of. It's worried me about it because obviously if you're in a pub or whatever and they shut the pub at 1:30, you might try and get a couple of cans at someone's house or whatever, but it's very rare you'll do a fucking like, oh, it's 5 o'clock in the morning kind of situation. Whereas I find with house block, you end up buying loads of booze in case you run out. Yeah. And then you're like, well, there's still drink here, so I may as well keep drinking it.
Exactly. I think it was Ruth that said, she's like, there's no one to tell you not the night, mate. There's no one to go, bar shut. You can just keep going to the fridge and you have food there as well, so you can keep her lit where you're like, I'm having some fucking olives and I'm having a bag of lentils. Fuck it. There
was a night where like I think I counted the next day, I counted 22 empty bottles of beer, but I don't know how many. I think I drank more,
right?
Because it was sitting like my dad's got a wee fridge in the garage. I was sitting in the garage FaceTiming somebody and I went to get a beer and went, where the fuck did all the beer go? Like, so I blacked out for a good 4 hours and was still drinking.
It's scary, like
it's fucking terrifying.
It must be just that ultimate home comfort, of getting blocked in your fucking, Thundercats onesie, and there's just the ultimate comfort level to it. Like.
This is the worst bit as well. I've been like getting a shower in the evening and getting ready, and then getting blocked. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm not getting all comfy. Like I'll have a wee glass and it's out of control. I'm like, I'm going out tonight in the house. Like.
Because I wonder, are girls doing that the way they always do, where they spend all day in the one room putting on makeup just to go into the living room? Like as you say, instead of going to the alibi, they're just like, I'm just going into the kitchen here to drink a warm gin with my granny.
I don't know. It's like, actually today I was kind of going, right, I might try and like just not booze until the pub's open. Which is only 2 weeks. But I'm like, I know there was one night, because I don't think I haven't been drinking like more as in like more nights of the week during lockdown, but I've just been drinking more the nights of the week that I do drink. Yeah. And there was one night where I went to bed and I hadn't finished a bottle of gin, and I was like, well done you for showing restraint. You only drank 4/5 of a litre of it. You absolute teetotaler.
The pioneer himself. I was thinking, obviously by the time this episode of the podcast goes out, this will be old news, but as of like 24 hours ago, we found out that all the bars are reopening on the 3rd of July if they want. So I thought, who better to have on today to speak about it than Newton Blockner himself? Like,
I'll Geordie second best. Do you know the thing is, I might not even go to the pub because it sounds like it's going to be shite.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I think everyone's got this homogenized image. It's got to be like Paddy's Day and Oxygen and T-Vital.
I'll be like, good to see you, mate.
Yeah. And it's just
going to be like, some Polish bouncer like, you must sit and sit before you bring pint down.
It's just going to be some people who are taking it way too seriously. Even now, where you see people with face masks, that's fine. But that's grand. But like, you probably see some paranoid bastard just basically a gazebo taped to his head, just being like, get the fuck, nope.
There's that, I think there's that, like the fact that you can't stand at the bar. I think you're only allowed a certain amount of people in. And I think there's a good chance the beer will be stinking because if they haven't used those taps for like 4 months, apparently that can really ruin the taste of Guinness and all that. So I'm like, fucking, I don't care.
I'll stick to battles.
I know. Although having said that, I'm wondering, like, can we start doing gigs if, like, say for like Lavery's where they serve food and you can have tables and like, I'm like, are we allowed to technically fucking put a wee gig on here? Because that's the only thing I really give a shit about at this point. It's just,
I'd say I can't see why they wouldn't, but again, I suppose it's up to Lavery's themselves.
Yeah,
it's their prerogative.
And people just might not come out. You might get people going, "Fuck, I'm not risking it." Like,
yeah. Are you going to do like COVID lockdown material, or are you going to stay away from it? Do you think? Or?
I don't have much material about it, to be honest. I mean, I'll probably have to mention, like, because I'm thinking the Ulster Hall. I'm hopefully still doing that in October. So I'm obviously thinking like the first couple of minutes is going to be like, "What have you been up to all year?"
Yeah.
But I don't really have much kind of. I think because like the podcast I do with Connor Keys, we've kind of gone down this road like weird conspiracy. So I've got some material about like weird conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
Around COVID, but apart from that, I'm fucking.
Is it pretty much one-sided in terms of the conspiracy theories on the podcast with Connor? Because it's never really been your thing, but I've heard Connor's got quite into it, the same way you would get into Pilates or something like that.
I think Connor was kind of into stuff like that like years ago, and kind of like just stepped away from it. Was like, fuck, this is kind of, there's too much. I think it's too deep. And then we, like, the podcast we started was supposed to be just basically, we were going, right, we'll do a podcast, but we'll try and make it a wee bit topical, just because there's tons of comedians just fucking talking shit, you know, like trying to do something a wee bit different. And then lockdown happened, and we both just put tinfoil hats on and went, right, who fucking started it? like, so
it's mad. Like, even people coming out with that whole 5G COVID thing.
That's the problem. There's so much of it where it's like, there's so many lunatics that, like, because I wouldn't call myself a conspiracy theorist. I'm just like, right, there's been a fucking massive economic crash, and not one billionaire has been like, here's $1 billion of my money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Fucking your man from Amazon hasn't been like, don't worry about it. There's a fucking $1 billion to keep the NHS going. There's $1 billion to keep. So like, he's going to be the world's first trillionaire, and he's like, oh, I'm skint high. Oh, I haven't a rap, me.
Yeah, you wish that he would do it like sort of Irish granny, be like, take it wee, just take it wee. I mean, say nothing.
No, I'll be insulted. I'll be insulted if you don't like it.
Come on, no.
Right. But instead, he's made a fucking fortune because everybody's buying Chicago Bulls tops and fucking dumbbells.
Yeah, no, yeah. Is that what you've been doing to kind of stay active during this whole thing? You are into the basketball. Are you playing?
I played it like the odd time in school. I liked it, and then I've been trying to get people together to fucking go and play a game just to see if for the crack.
Yeah.
Me and Shane Todd talked about maybe doing like a charity comedians basketball match or something.
Yeah.
When this is all over, but I've been doing I'm trying to do for the first couple of weeks. I was trying to do these workouts in the house, like with all the stuff your ma buys from Argos on New Year's Day. Yeah. Do that like New Year, New Me.
Yeah.
So like I'm trying to use like ab rollers and sit up benches and all these weird fucking gizmos around the house. And then I started doing fucking DDP yoga like 3 weeks ago.
DDP, is that not a wrestling move?
Yeah. So DDP, Diamond Dallas Page, is a wrestler from like the 80s or 90s.
Right. Oh, I've heard the name, man.
Yeah. So there's a video, you've probably seen the video where it's a bloke and he's really, really fat. He's on crutches and he like can't walk. His hips are fucked. And then at the end of the video, he's like running through the park full speed. So it's this guy DDP's put with like his own yoga program basically.
Yeah.
And it's fucking brilliant. Like if you get a bit of a bad back sometimes, don't you?
I do, yeah.
I highly recommend doing this because my back was fucked. And I did 2 sessions of it and it was like, I feel like I've been touched by the hand of Jesus.
Yeah.
Like I feel healed.
What makes it different from normal yoga? Is it more intensive or is it just because it's got his name to it? I don't know.
No, I think it's like, I think the only real difference in it is like you're tense while you're doing the stretches.
Right.
So I think in yoga you just fucking stretch. Whereas this one you have to like fucking tense all your arms up and then try and do it at the same time.
Yeah. Right.
So you sweat fucking buckets. And it's one of those things that it's so fucking fake macho as well. He's like, get in there, brother. And you're like, shh, just
let me alone.
Yeah,
sensitive.
I farted. Please stop it. But it's great. It's really good. It's one of the few like things I've been able to do even when I'm hungover from being blocked in the house by myself, where I can get up and be like, I'll just do a wee bit of stretching. Fucking feel great.
Yeah, because I've never heard of. I've obviously heard of yoga, but is DDP yoga the equivalent of like a Davina McCall workout DVD? Do you think is it that sort of thing?
That's one of the, it kind of does look like that. Like it's an app on your phone, or when you finish it, like his face comes up and it's like self high five. You're like, just stop patronizing me. I know you can beat me in a fight. I'm just trying to fix my wee sore back.
Yeah, I just want to be able to walk again.
Yeah.
I've been doing that. I don't know if you've seen our WhatsApp group. I did that. I'm a week away from finishing that couch to 5K.
That's right, aye.
Thing. Next Friday is my last run. So just a half hour, and that's payday as well. So the big man is eating next Friday, eating whole and halloumi fries.
Deadly.
not in that order.
I was trying to do the couch to 5K. There's a fucking moth.
Lisa freaks out about moths too. Yeah?
Oh, I hate them. But I was trying to do the couch to 5K. That's why I ended up getting this yoga thing because I was so embarrassed. So it was a really hot day. I was like, put a wee shorts on, wee vest top and all. Like, fucking right, here we go. Let's show Lurgan Mick's been working out during this.
Yeah.
And I swear to fuck, I jogged to the end of my driveway and put my back out, right? Completely fucked my back. And it was like, everybody was out because it was a sunny day. So I was like, I can't stop. Like, I'm going to have to try and style this out.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I'm like, I'm trying to run in agony, thinking, fuck, until like I get around the corner when nobody's watching, and then I'll put a real bad limp on the way back. Like, because I wanted to be like, it's not that I'm fat or lazy. I'm very, very unfit.
Yeah, it loves continuity.
Yeah, I'm just really. For a second, I thought I would like just rubbing my knee on the ground. I'd be like, I fell, hit by a car. I was hit by a car. I'm going to limp home here and get in a hot bath.
I can't imagine, like, particularly if I was down in Strabane, I had a fallen, particularly if I hurt my back. I don't know if I could listen to my dad at my age go like slap the ground and be like, bad ground, you fucking wanker. Because when you're a kid, he's always like, if you hit your knee in the coffee table, he'd be like, bad coffee table or some shit like that there. But I wonder now, because you're an adult, where you go, that ground's a cunt.
You're not telling us, was that fucking ground? I always knew you were something like that. The day you were born, that fucking ground.
It's had it in for me.
Just getting quite serious about it. Like, I used to go to school, that ground's a fucking cousin, and he was a cunt.
And he gives me dirty looks all the time, and I stand my ground.
He's a fucking psychopath, man. Thank God.
Mickey out. I remember once speaking of hurting her back at a bad, not that there's a good time for it to happen, but like, this is how long ago it was. We were in the queue to get tickets for Lincoln Park. They were playing the Point in Dublin with Queens of the Stone Age supporting them, by the way.
Deadly.
Which is fucking lethal. And my mate John was so keen, like first in line at Ticketmaster place in Derry, and got the tickets and went, yes, lad, dropped them, and then did his back out, lifting them back up, and he couldn't go.
It's so annoying. I did mine once where it was like my bum cheek. It felt like my bum cheek, but it felt to be a wee bit stiff, and I was like, I'll be grand. And I went to the cinema to watch, I think it might have been Django or something. It was like a big fucking 3-hour-long movie.
Yeah.
And I was like, the whole way through, I was like, fuck, I'm so sore. And then by the time it was over, my entire like fucking left leg had just seized up.
Oh yeah.
So I was trying to walk out of the cinema in Derry, looking like I completely shit my pants.
Yeah.
With my ex-girlfriend like holding my elbow, like, you're nearly there. You're nearly there.
Putting the granny back in the car after bingo, like, I see you there now, Vera. All right.
Just fucking full World War II flashback, like, fucking German bastards.
Don't chat to me about that German ground. I tell you, do you know what the worst?
A Winston Churchill statue. The reason we're here, she's a grand, lady. Yeah, fucking.
That's what that song "You Spin Me Right Ground" was all about. Flow Rider, fucking loved it. But do you know what annoys me about a sore back? I mean, I'll give that DDP yoga a shout for sure, but it's like anything. When you try and Google how to fix it, you know, with a sore back, it's like any sort of ailment where you Google it and everything conflicts. Even like in terms of like nutrition. You know, when I was reading about that, I had a couch to 5K where they're like, oh, eat avocados, and the next article is like, I know, don't eat it because you'll grow a foot in your dick or something like that there. So we back pain, like,
you're going, my dick's already a foot, what I'm saying.
Guacamole. And then I fucking for ages was always like putting like warm things on my lower back.
Aye.
Because they say, "Oh, do the heat." But then when I went to see a chiropractor a couple of months later, when it was really bad, she was like, "No, you have to do an ice pack." Just depending on it's like varies from injury to injury, but certain times heat's good, but certain times heat's very bad for it, and you're like, "What the fuck?" Like,
I know. I was going loads for there's a great guy in Derry, I can't remember his name, where like they were literally just like he would massage my back and then jump on my like pull my leg over the side of the bench and jump on it, and my spine sounded like somebody walking a bag of knobby nuts. It was just like I remember the first time I went, he went, "Listen, you need to get home within the next hour." He goes, "Because you feel great now, but in like within an hour, it's gonna be worse. It's gonna hurt worse the next 2 days than it did before you came in here. But then you'll be grand." And it was like to the minute, I was like, I'm looking at my watch, like 40 fucking 7 hours, 59 seconds, and I'm like, 40. Amazing. But again, it was the same thing. It was like there's so many different people going. I was getting acupuncture and all sorts of shit at one point.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Like, I've never got that, but I think there is a guy in Strabane that does it. Now, I assume he's verified, or I don't know if it's just some guy where he's just taking the bristles off a brush and sticking them in you.
It can work for some stuff, because I used to get like I have wild like tight calves, and first time I went looking about it, because it was hurting my feet. My feet were in fucking agony. I couldn't figure out what was going on. Yeah. Like, "Oh, your legs are like pretty much seized up."
Right.
Again, just not working out or not looking after himself. And the girl gave me acupuncture, and she showed me the needle afterwards, and she went, "That's supposed to come out straight," but it was like in a knot. And she goes, "Your legs are that tight, you bent a bit of metal." I was like, "Thank you."
Like, I wonder if she was trying to go round your dick, like in school you would like not try and touch the thing in case of it.
Yeah, just play an operation. Like,
the thing is with my back, like, and this, like, it's never good, because like I had to fucking strip down to the cacks basically in front of this bird in an Armagh Road chiropractor, and she put me on this like massage table, and like it bends and stuff. It's got like a remote, but she was like, it's not anything serious, but she was like, "You don't really have a core." And I was like, "What do you mean?" She goes, like, "People have core strength from, planking and just generally being fit." And she goes, "You have 0%. You just don't have any core strength whatsoever. It's not as if like you've all the room for improvement, because you've got fuck all." Because she was like, "What do you do for work?" And I was like, "Well, work in an office, sitting down all day." And she goes, "So do you get up every couple of minutes, and walk about, and do you go anywhere in your lunch break?" And I was like, "Nah, just don't bother." And she goes, like, "You've no core." And so you've no core at all.
I remember seeing a personal trainer one time, and he was like, "Man, do you know what the weird thing is?" He's like, most fellas like in their 30s when they see a PT, it's because they've got sports injuries and stuff. He's like, "The great thing about you is you've no actual injuries because you've done fuck all your whole life." I'm like, thanks, I suppose.
It's such a complimentary burn at the same time.
Yeah.
You've avoided sports injuries by doing nothing. But
I'm like, just hammering them wee pink dumbbells to fuck me.
Have you ever had a Thai massage? You ever had one of those?
No.
I got anytime I've been in Prague, I've always got one, and like,
yeah.
Oh, sorry, when you hear this. So I went in, and I didn't realize it was an erotic place. Like, nothing happened, but I wasn't aware. And at one point, like, she had me on my back, and she was just yanking the bag out. Man, I was
seriously.
Yeah, sort of got. Like, he was like trying to get more flexibility in a balloon.
I remember I did go for. In fact, I just realized I've been for like a Thai massage when I was in Australia.
Oh, really?
And again, same thing. I had no idea it was like a fucking massage parlor.
Yeah.
So it was the day I was flying home, it was like my shoulders were getting stiff. And I was like, "You know what? We're running here, get a massage, just get this fucking loosened up." And an Australian guy came in with me, a mate of mine. And so first I was laughing because I took my top off, and because I have a tattoo, like a really shy tattoo on my back of a wee dragon, and the wee Thai lady went, "Ah, such a beautiful dragon." So I spent 20 minutes laughing my balls off, because I'm like, you're trying to be nice, but it's the worst fucking thing I've ever seen. So that's great. I get my massage, and I was waiting on him coming out. So that's fucking, we'll get everything sorted, pay money, whatever. And we're leaving, and as we got outside the place, the bloke turned to me and went, "So did you get fucking tagged off as well?" I was like, "No." Like, I've always thought, like, how do you make the transaction from like, the stiffness seems to have spread.
It's now relocated to a Shaftular area. I think, if anything, because the girl was just, still has to do her job. Maybe she's on commission or something. But I think I basically just got knuckle fucked in the tent for half an hour and then I'm paid for it. Basically, like, she was trying to, like, know if you're trying to see if someone's hollow or not.
It's the wild big fan of Sooty. Like,
trying to tell, you're a comedian, knock knock.
Is this thing on?
And students in. Oh, I like your open spot.
I give you a tight 5.
As long as it's not the Mickey Bartlett tight 5, I'll be all right.
4 hours later, and another thing.
Here's the thing. Oh man, one thing I actually did want to say to you as well is I was trying to figure out with McCann and Dave when I was speaking to them how much you spent at my wedding, and neither of them could.
Man, we've never really fucking.
Because someone said to me, one of my family members had kind of noticed that you were obviously doing a little bit of the bubbly. So obviously he was noticing that the bubbly was not lasting long and you were going straight back to the bar. And he actually says, he was like, they're going to be washing dishes tomorrow to pay that fucking bar tab because serving the breakfast now.
I think the only thing that saved us was we were going, like, any bottles of bubbly, we were like, what's the cheapest one? Yeah, like, we're banned the dirtiest, rottenest, like.
Yeah.
Because even I was watching that a few weeks ago. There's a point where you can see we've started, like, buying cheap shit because I'm like, little bit of the bubbly.
Do you have, like, a usual, like, wedding drink that you stick to? Like, are you tactical when it comes to long sessions?
It depends where the wedding is. I think, like, I do try to. I kind of go for Guinness quite a lot of the time.
Mm-hmm.
Guinness or gin, I think. But
it's always gin all day. Fuck's sake.
I think Guinness is because you're going to be eating a big feed. And I can kind of drink Guinness better because it's just not as fucking fizzy.
Like fizziness goes.
Yeah. And then again, it depends. Like if the wedding's in a shithole where the Guinness isn't nice, I'm like, I'm not fucking drinking that shit.
Yeah, balls definitely.
Yeah.
I think, like, because I was worried when I heard this lockdown was coming in. I was sitting there going, if Mickey and the boys still have bills from that wedding, this lockdown's not going to fucking help. But you got lucky enough, I suppose, with your Ulster Hall date. I mean, you didn't have to change it at all, didn't you? Not
for the one coming up.
Yeah, for the one coming up.
Well, I haven't changed it yet. We've got a date, like a preliminary date booked for next year, just in case.
Mm-hmm.
But the way I was sort of looking at it was, I was just like, look, I want to hold off until like August to schedule it. Do you know what I mean? Because I'm like, fuck knows what can happen between now and then. And because I was just talking to Aaron McCann tonight, and I'm like, right, the pubs are open the 3rd of July, all going according to plan. We should be at least sort of some way back to normal by October.
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, you would hope for sure. Yeah.
And it's kind of a selfish thing too as well, because everybody else will reschedule theirs the next year, and I was like, that means I'm going to have to try and sell tickets up against every other fucking comedian in the country.
Yeah, true.
Whereas I'm like, if we ended up changing it and we didn't have to, I'm like, fuck, it would have been all right. So fingers crossed it'll go ahead. The only problem will be is me trying to get fucking stage time to get an hour together.
True. Yeah.
Between now and then, do you know what I mean?
Because I know you announced the show shortly after the last Ulster Hall one, didn't you? It wasn't that long, if not.
It was the same day. I think it ended up, the Ulster Hall, I think, accidentally put it up on sale the night of the last one.
Yeah. It's not a bad idea.
It's decent. Like, it's one of those things where, like, you do shift quite a few tickets that night. So if you're able to go, we're doing this next year.
Yeah.
And it's such a weird one to sell, because what happens is you shift a bunch at the start, and then it kind of goes gradually, it goes up, and then fucking no tickets move for months.
There's always a lull.
It's going to be a nightmare. Yeah, and then at the end it just spikes again. So it'll be interesting to see, because it's like, I think there's about 600 tickets gone for it already. So it'll be interesting to see if the last bunch go, because there hasn't been a single ticket bought since lockdown, I don't think.
Yeah, well,
understandably, so people don't have fucking jobs, and
True, but then you think of the people that maybe haven't had really a lot of platforms to spend their money, unless they're flat out like Amazon and stuff. So people could have money to burn, and now that they can actually fucking burn it, you never know, man. But so how many times have you done it now? There was our show, your solo, and then did you do it before with someone as well?
We did it with Find Me the Funny. in like
yeah,
2009 or 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was fucking weird. But again, we did it with Family Funny. We didn't sell it out, and we were giving away free tickets.
Right.
Like, so it wasn't fucking, it wasn't good crack. Like, oh, it was good crack, but it was just one of those things you're going, like, I don't think that TV show had gone down as well as people thought it was going to go down. So by the time like we did the Ulster Hall, there wasn't even like a rap party after it. It was like, right, everybody go home.
All the best.
Like,
yeah.
So I must be 3 times in, yeah. It's the 3.
Class. Because I just wonder, like, do you feel like you've got used to that rhythm now, or because you've only done it 2 or 3 times that it still sort of feels new in a weird way?
It's still weird, kind of like, because I've done, like, any other time I've done big rooms was either with like a bunch of other comedians or as a support act.
Yeah.
Like, I've done the Opera House fucking maybe 20 times.
Yeah.
As a support act, but it's like it is that thing of like when it's your show. There's a weird element to it because it's the first time I've in 12 years of doing stand up that like when the lights went down before I went on, the audience cheered and you're like, fuck it. Like you do go like it goes from like it goes from like being a comedian to you're a fucking rock star for an hour.
Oh, for sure. And it makes sense because obviously for that show it was sold out and stuff too. Whereas I was looking back, not that I'm slagging, but I was looking back at my Mandela show footage, and like I didn't sell it out, but it was still a fucking lethal gig. But you know, the lights go down and you know, they hear the whoops and stuff, and I was like, happy days. And then the most indulgent fucking intro ever, I played Dissolve by the Chemical Brothers. I didn't come on stage till 2 minutes and 50 seconds into it. I think what's Mandela, 400, 450? And
about that.
I don't even remember how many I saw, but I know it didn't cost half. You know what I mean?
Aye.
And just the most indulgent. I might as well came out with like a fur coat and bitches and limo.
Yeah,
it's good.
It's such a weird thing because like I think there's something in with because I mean the last time I toured was maybe 2 years ago, and even on the main tour itself, like we didn't sell out every venue.
Yeah,
sold out most of them, but I think there was a lot of goodwill because it was the Ulster Hall, and it was just, like Guinness was doing the SSE and stuff, so it was one of those things where everybody seemed to go, "Fuck, we're going to this," even if we've already heard the jokes.
Yeah, I see.
You know what I mean? So it'll be interesting to see what happens second time around.
Yeah, isn't it mad now that's a thing that we say casually now that all like Collins and the SSE, and I think that's a thing that I didn't really notice until Lisa brought up. Now, this was a while ago, but last time Colin did the Ulster Hall, which obviously was a couple of years ago, I opened for him, and I went and opened for him, and then just came home. In the same way, I go, I'm way to get milk here. So Lisa was like, you just casually went and did the Ulster Hall and came back. Like, but I didn't even think. It was not that it was just another gig, but you know, you're just so nonchalant. I'll go to the Ulster Hall here, do half an hour in front of 1,000 people, and I'll be back, and then I'll stick on the disappointing coffee that I always do. That annoys me, by the way. Like this whole thing, when someone else makes your tea or coffee, it tastes better, and you're going, I don't know. It's like saying, well, you pay the bills, it makes me feel better. Do you know what I mean?
It is a weird one. Like I was thinking, would Guinness when he did the SSC the second, because we were there.
That was the night we were both there, yeah.
And we were all blocked and drinking, and then Geddes drove me home. Great show, great.
Yeah, it's weird now that in the best possible way that it's a thing. You know what I mean? And like, because not to be too sort of cheesy, but there's a lot of brilliant people in England and Scotland and even down south, but they're not doing venues that size.
I think for him, like it's just been because I was chatting about it briefly. Where like he was offered like loads of TV stuff and all these different bits and pieces that he didn't take because he was like, I want to do like my own thing, my own version of it. And
do you mean sorry at the very start of his like stand-up career,
yeah,
or just
and maybe it's the whole way through. Like
yeah,
like whenever he started doing stand-up, because I'd been going about a year, maybe a year and a half, and like people were still billing him as Barry the Blender when he was doing gigs.
Yeah.
So it took ages for that to go away, and then it took ages for people to go, oh, he's fucking really good at stand-up, and you know, like the podcast went through a couple of different name changes and all that shit. So it was one of those things when you see him doing it, because on the way down I was thinking, fuck, what if I'm jealous? What if I get in here to watch him do this show and I'm fuming at my best mate?
I felt the same. I'll be honest.
And then it starts and you're like, he fucking fully belongs in that room. Like,
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I think like it's just that sort of act. You know what I mean? I think there's certain people that could maybe play the same size venue, but maybe not that one. I think you need to have a certain, if you're one of those people that will just literally stand in the one spot the whole show, I don't think that suits that sort of vibe. Like you look at someone like Dylan Moran, I've seen him in the waterfront and it's lethal. But I think if you moved him to the SSE, it just wouldn't be as good because the SSE is weird for stand up anyway. So that setup that Colin had, I prefer to the full fucking thing, to be honest.
That was the thing. Whenever I did support for Kilty in it, 2012, and I think it was like 6,500.
Right.
And you're like, what? There's no point. Do you know what I mean? Like any bigger than the size Geddes played, you're like, stand-up's too small.
Yeah.
To have in that size of room. Do you know what I mean? And there's a certain level of you have to say something and wait until the echo comes back and then say the next line.
Yeah, I mean that must be a weird thing to even as an act develop, to do the bigger room. Because even like the Ulster Hall, I remember writing my set out, which I never do that. And I was thinking I had about 6 bits, and then I did about 3, and then I was done. Do you know what I mean? Because the room's big, you kind of have to wait for shit to, be received.
And also, it's one of those, whenever because it's kind of easier to play a bigger room. So 12 people laughing is like ha ha ha, but 1,000 people laughing fucking keeps spinning.
Yeah.
So you'll do a line that gets a bit of a giggle in a comedy club, and then 1,000 seater, you're like, fucking, I'm hilarious. Like you don't have the time to go all right, fucking enjoy yourselves. There's more coming. You know what I mean? Calm down, guys.
I do feel the same though that you brought up about the whole jealousy thing. Because I was worried because I was like, I don't want to be that.
I know
that guy. I just don't want to do it.
Yeah, and it's one of those things that a lot of people. I don't think comedians are jealous fuckers. We all are.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? As soon as somebody gets something, your first thought is, how the fuck did he? And then you're like, no. Happy for him.
Yeah.
Fair play, you worked for it, mate. Fair play. It's a weird fucking feeling, but it was class. It was a class night.
Yeah, it was brilliant. Obviously, it just wasn't timing wise the best time for him.
Doing it.
What a mental year for him. But sure, he'll do it for a month next year, whatever the fuck he's doing. It's
totally.
But it's class that it's a thing. It's something it's a benchmark. So even if you don't reach it, even to do somewhere slightly smaller than that is still fucking lethal. Ulster Hall is still 1,000 people.
It's a weird fucking, because there's such a strange thing when you do for me in the Ulster Hall. I always thought, right, if I do the Ulster Hall or the Opera House or something sold out on my own, I was like, I can quit. I can go, right, that's pretty, how many comedians in the world get to say that they've sold out a fucking 1,000-seater?
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Right, that's all right, I'm done. And then the shittiest bit is the last bit in the show was a 10-15 minute bit maybe. And the last 5 minutes of the Ulster Hall, I started getting sad. I was like, fuck.
Just because it was nearly over?
Yeah, and it was and it sounds awful cocky to say, but because I'd done the show in Edinburgh and fucking really tightened it up, I knew the last bit was going to get a standing ovation, and I was like, this is going to be the coolest fucking thing that's ever happened to me, and I'm raging.
Yeah.
Because it's just going to happen. And then I walked off stage and Dave Elliott was like, you're a sociopath. And I was like, what do you mean? He went, you've just fucking got a standing ovation for 1,000 people. And he goes, your face is like this.
Fuck it.
I just dandered off fuck's sake.
I suppose that's half of that as well is the fact that you're just not I'm not slagging, but you're not used to standing ovations. It's a very rare thing. So when you get it, you don't really know what to do. You don't want to be self-indulgent and be dander about the stage for 20 minutes.
Exactly.
Take a top off or whatever. But
that was the thing. I watched the video back and I was like, if I had stayed on stage for another couple of seconds, the video would have had everybody up. Because I was off stage before the entire fucking room was on their feet. I remember Connor Keys being like, if you'd have just waited, and I was like, man, it was the most uncomfortable fucking thing to stand there
yeah.
Especially after I've just done the dirtiest joke I've ever written in my life. You're half ashamed of yourself. I can't believe I said that.
Yeah. Is your next show pretty much written then? So it's just a matter of getting the stage time to throw it out?
I don't know. There's some. See, this is the kind of thing. Before the lockdown happened, I was kind of I was behind on writing the show because usually by February or March, I'll know what the closing joke of the show is, and then
Right.
sort of work backwards. And I didn't have a closer this year, so I was like, fuck.
Yeah.
And then I think maybe because it was still turning as well, it was like I couldn't really focus on writing a new one when I was still doing the old one.
Right. See what you mean, yeah.
Because I was worried about like throwing the new jokes into the old show to try and save the work, and then be like, fuck, I'm going to have to go back here next year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Throw yourself under a bus doing that, even though it's easy short term, but difficult long term, I think.
Totally. So I ended up, I've got a bunch of stuff, but I don't know. Like I've got some things that are fucking real. I wrote a joke the other day I think's really funny about I've got this ritual when I get on a plane where I accept that it might crash and I might die. So I've got a playlist on my phone and it's just Highway to Hell and repeat because I've got this fantasy about like an accident emergency like investigator guy finding me in my seat and taking the headphones off and hearing it and being like, what a fucking legend.
What a good lad.
So there's bits like that, and then there's some other stuff, but it's still not. You don't know if it's funny until you get on stage. So
yeah, that's the thing. I mean, I get some people saying like, how often do you physically write stuff down, which is rare for me. It's not really how I work, but at the same time, even if I spent an hour a day writing down a bit, you don't really know until it either does well or dies on its hole. Like it's very visceral.
And even there's times where it'll die on its hole, and you do it again. That's great.
Exactly.
Or it'll work the first time, die on its hole the second time. You're like, what am I doing wrong here?
Yeah.
So we'll just have to fucking see. I just hope I can get on. Like, ideally, what I'd like to do is, like book somewhere, like book the Sunflower or book Labby's or book something.
Yeah.
For 20 people, and go right. Fucking, is this funny?
Yeah, throwing it out. Absolutely. I think people don't. Well, I assume people realize that doing any sort of hour show, where it's Edinburgh, even if you're doing it as work in progress, it's a lot of work and you're opening yourself up to an hour's worth of criticism. So you look like, even before the news broke, D'Elia was getting slated for his Netflix special that Netflix gave him money to do, and people were slagging it to death. And then obviously the newest allegations came out. Yeah. What's your whole take on that? Do you think he did it, Mick?
I don't know, but it's like, put it this way, like in his last special, he said he's never drank or taken drugs in his life, and I'm like, well, what are you into then?
Yeah, you have to have some vice.
You know what I mean? You have to be something you fucking. I don't know. It's fucked. Like it's because he's one of those guys. I've never really enjoyed his stand up. I like some of his crowd work stuff.
Yeah,
but I've always been like, that's not fucking great. This isn't. I could never really understand how he was the one that got picked to be, on Netflix.
Yeah, what do you mean? Like, out of all the people he's associated with?
Like all the comedians in the world, like, why did they go Chris D'Elia? Let's give him a special. Like, but I mean, what is it? 40 plus women are now saying, like,
yeah.
I mean, from what I've seen, it ranges from he was a creepy cunt to how he's like actually having sex with underage girls.
Yeah.
So
it's like the old saying goes: "There's no rape without fire."
Yeah, that's the thing.
That's it.
Nobody fucking makes that shit up. Like,
yeah, it's.
I mean, or one person falsely accusing them of it is okay. Two, a coincidence.
Yeah.
But as we've learned from the Catholic Church, if everybody's saying it, it fucking happened.
And I think like it's certainly a horrible situation to be in, but then you just think he's got no luck at the same time. Where like one of his last acting roles was playing a paedophile type, and he's done it in Workaholics as well, where he's like, you're like, for fuck's sake, like.
I know, it's just fucking. I don't know, but it's so fun, and it's one of those things too, where like, especially with American comics, that whole fucking life on the road thing, it's not good for you.
Definitely not. No.
Do you know what I mean? So I don't know. Fuck him if he did it. Like, you burn him at the stake.
If he did it, fuck him.
If he didn't do it, well, But if he did, and it looks like he did, fuck him.
Yeah, because you worry, like, even if he's cleared, he's probably done, at least for a few years. He has to lay low, because Aziz Ansari had a while away, even though he was kind of vindicated. And even his last special, he talked about it a wee bit. And I suppose CK talked about it a wee bit too, but it's still always going to be that thing you're associated with.
Yeah, it's one, and I think for somebody like Chris D'Elia, like with CK, and there was, again, with CK, it wasn't as many women as was coming out with D'Elia. And there was still a kind of, like, it's potential that he didn't do anything fucking illegal. So there's still like an ongoing discussion with it.
Yeah.
And also, Louis C.K. was the best comedian in the fucking world, so he was going to come back regardless.
Yeah,
Whereas
true.
with this, you're kind of going, everybody's saying you did do it. No one's fucking, there doesn't seem to be any kind of disagreement, and you're not that good. So
yeah, so it's no big loss.
There's no comeback from somebody who's like, you were shite, so it doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
but I've seen, like, I haven't watched them, but like apparently his last special was so bad. You have people doing video essays on YouTube about how bad it is, and like,
Oh really?
Yeah, because they did it for your man. What do you call the fighter and the kid? That guy, Brendan Schaub. There's loads of video essays about how it's the worst stand-up special ever. Like I hate that guy, but like it's the worst stand-up special ever. And the people do essays and talk about, like, obviously people who don't know what the fuck they're talking about, but it's like, here's how he delivers this, and here's how he should have done it better, and he rushed into it and stuff, which he did, to be fair. Like, everyone said it, but it's mad now that the scrutiny you can get. Like, did you see the thing I put up about Arlene Foster's birthday being the same day as the bars open? I knew that was a doctored photo because I double checked. That was like a doctored photo from Wikipedia saying her 50th was the 3rd of July. It's actually like the 17th or some shit. But I put it up for a bit of crack. Then it was just a very very middle of the road sort of joke about it, but like, I'm going to go to Thompson's this night, so we'll open the bars on my 50th. Something hacky as fuck, who cares? And Selfies put up something similar. Then I got messages from other comedians going, don't worry, I messaged Selfies saying they took your joke. And I was like, here, it's a load of bollocks. I don't give a shit. And then, like, there was videos that went up of a similar premise. And I was going, here, some cunt probably did it before me. Like, it's...
Because I seen Haggerty posted it, like, with the soundtrack over it.
Yeah.
And then I seen it on Facebook, and someone else had posted it on their Facebook and had way more likes and shares on it.
Yeah. And then Sean shared it and fucking did a big spiel about how you work, like his work ethic, and how you're stealing content. And you're like, if it's on social media,
I know, man. It's one of those. It's because it's kind of like when I started doing stand up and YouTube was just sort of starting to blossom.
Yeah,
all the comedians were going, "Fuck, don't put your stuff on YouTube because it's you're giving it away for nothing."
Yeah,
and then weirdly, like, we're now living in a world where you're expected to give it away for nothing.
Yeah,
in order to make money with something else.
That's true. Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, I did a fucking TV show recently where I had to pay them for the footage.
Serious?
Swear to fuck.
That's mad.
And they wouldn't even give me the whole thing. They were like, you can use 60 seconds of it, but you have to pay us to get your own fucking work back office.
That's mad.
Which is why I'm not doing any more Zoom gigs. I've done like 3 Zoom gigs, and I'm not doing anymore because I think people will get used to them.
Yeah.
Like, why would I leave the house?
Yeah, I mean, I was asked to do 1 or 2, not a wild lot, and just said it's not my thing because, like how is it really? Is it as bad as you thought it was going to be, or is it?
So the two that I done that weren't bad, that I kind of half enjoyed, were, it's like you pay money to get the link for it.
Right.
So basically the way it is like, you can get maybe 50 or 60 people in, and they basically go, right, you can leave your mic on so we can hear you laughing, and leave your camera on, but don't be fucking, it's basically like a virtual comedy club. Like, same rules apply. But I did another one where it was just like a 24-hour live stream from comedians all over the world. So you couldn't hear anybody joining. Anybody could just join in, but you couldn't hear anybody laughing. So you're just doing your bits to nothing. And I was like, this is horrible. Like,
yeah, I'm used to that, but that's before lockdown.
But like, the idea of like doing stand up, the people where you're dressed like from here and then just in your pants.
Yeah,
and then I was going to say, so like, I just don't want to do any more of them.
Because I wonder, with that premise, are people maybe like dating over Zoom? So from the top half, you're maybe wearing a suit or like a short sleeve shirt, but you're just naked from the waist down, just in case.
I've seen a few people talk about, there have been these weird Zoom dates where like you get dinner at the same time and then you fucking Zoom somebody while you're eating your dinner.
Yeah.
But again, I think that goes back to like starting to fuel my conspiracy theory thoughts, where I'm like, we're going to fucking live it where you just don't leave the house and just fucking sit there.
Yeah.
Like the fucking big fat cunt out of Wally.
Yeah. I love how you pronounce it, Wally, as well. Just like, oh.
Fucking Wally.
You fucking Wally, mate. I think like it's like a proper Zoom date, like a first date over Zoom must be terrible. Where like, would you have to agree what dinner you're having, or is it like, oh, I'm having carbonara, but she's just like waffles?
I'm vegan. All right.
Yeah.
But again, it's one of those things where like on a Zoom date where you just halfway through you realize it's not going anywhere and you just go fuck it and close your computer.
Like, I wonder if there's been an instance where like the girl said to the guy, "Oh, I think he's frozen," and then you're just like, "No, that's just his actual face."
Yeah, he's just he just needs a sneeze.
Yeah, I particularly like because people are still getting used to Zoom as well, even though it's not overly complicated. But I wonder if like the guy doesn't realize that he's live on Zoom or whatever, and he's speaking to his mate before the date starts, and be like, "I didn't think Nazis were that bad, to be honest. Well, Dervla."
Nice to meet you. You look lovely.
Yeah, keeping all right. He's got like a Nazi tattoo in his ball bag.
There's been a few things I got with some of the Zoom gigs that I've done where you can hear people like, "I can't get it working. What the fuck is this? Don't get me another beer. I'm busting for a piss. When's this starting?" And you're like, "Dude," because there's a part of it where it's like, at a real gig, if you're in a green room, you don't hear the audience's conversation, so you don't want to. Like, do you know what I mean? Do that kind of thing? Like, if you ever go into the bog before a gig, and you hear a couple of lads fucking, "Well, I'm coked out of my nut," da, da, da. And then the gig starts, and you see them, and you're like, "You better not open your fucking mouth because I know everything about you."
Yeah. I think like, there's nothing worse than being like, particularly for like a solo show, being in the room with the people before you go on stage. Like I stay away, but it does make you think about those early days where we used to go down and do gigs and just hope that it was going to happen. So you didn't mind being in the room. Like, because I was thinking about what gigs we've done. And obviously it's quite cheesy as well because you emceed my first ever gig. And you know what I mean?
Where was that?
That was 10 years, October 18th, 2011 or something like that.
It wasn't the pub, was it? Or was it in...
Yeah, I was a pav. I was 2 weeks after Colin. So we actually 2 weeks apart. But I was remembering that gig, I want to say, was it in Maville? And it was in some hotel. And we ended up staying at the Booker's house, and we left the gig with a black bin liner full of bottles of cider.
Aye.
The glam.
That's the night where I pulled the girl in record time.
That night. You're absolutely right, yeah.
That's the
infamous. Would that be the night, and you can, maybe it's not, but would that be the night that Colin thinks that you, when you met up the next day, had shite in your finger? Would that be?
No.
I should give context.
That's a different night, and that's not true. No, that was the night where we were standing. We were just standing in this weird house, at an after party, and Colin went, "Mick, do you want a beer?" And I went, "Yeah, no sweat." And he went in to get a beer, and then I pulled, but like it disappeared in the room with this girl. He was like, back when I had her.
Yeah, the good old days.
But there were so many of those fucking weird gigs, man. Like, you're right. Like, the amount of times you would turn up to a gig, like, having spent the last of your money on the petrol to get there.
Oh, yeah.
And you're like, I hope the fuck these cunts pay us. Like,
yeah. And you're like standing on a pallet or two boxes of Corona.
I know.
And it's like, I remember I did a gig once. It was technically my first corporate, even though it really wasn't. It was some bar in Letterkenny. Asked me to come down. It was about 3 years in. And you've probably had a similar gig where, where the microphone's connected to the DJ booth, but it only stretches about half a meter. So you're like it's a fucking tin whistle or a recorder or something like that. And you're just howling it. And every time you speak, the lights react. The DJ disco lights. So it's like a strobe. It's like a fucking Darude gig. But you're like, here, pick and mix is dear.
I know. I was like, ear. I remember doing one, again, like a corporate kind of thing once where it was a wireless mic. But the speakers were like 10 feet behind me.
Yeah.
So nobody could hear. I could hear me, but nobody else could. I remember somebody being like, "Will you fucking move closer to us? We can't hear you." And I'm like, "That's not how a fucking microphone works. Like, the sound isn't coming out of that bit, you fucking gobshite."
What's your verdict then on, I suppose I know the answer to this already, but hometown gigs? Because obviously we go from very distinct places with certain reputations, and I've had a few positive ones, but mostly very negative hometown gigs.
I've had a few where, like, again, because like early days, we've done a couple in Lurgan where they were grand in the sense that you were like, got away with it.
Yeah.
But they were never good.
They're like passable, just.
Yeah, and I think there's definitely something in, like, if you're doing a gig, I've actually had a problem where anytime I'm anywhere and there's somebody from Lurgan at the gig, they will be the biggest problem in the room. Not the people in Lurgan about it, it's just that they're going like, I know him because we went to the same chippy one time. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the man who drank my water in Antrim.
I never actually got the full story on that. I've seen the social media posts about it, but you basically had to explain to the Wood Tank clan, which is what I call my legion of fans.
We were doing, it was a tour show in a bar in Antrim. So it was basically quite a small stage. And the audience are kind of like, so they're mostly down this one side, but there's a table just here on the left of the stage. So I like had a pint of water with me, and the gig starts, and I'm like, you don't mind if I just set this here? Set my pint of water on the table, and I'm trying to be sort of, be kind on the internet and not be too rude about the guy. But this big fucking fat, smelly, fucking greedy, disrespectful, big fat cunt of a cunt, like leant over and took the pint of water, right? And I'm like trying to make a wee like, oh, I've spanked that joke or whatever, like a wee fucking silly, and then he just starts fucking gulping it, and it wasn't like he sipped it, right? It was like I could see, do you know, like a pint of water magnify somebody's mouth. I could see his face. I can see the back of his fucking throat. Yeah, just fucking glugging it, and then set it back down. So I was like, and this is the COVID thing. It was like 2 weeks before lockdown, so people were worried about a fucking global pandemic. Yeah, and I'm standing there thinking, you fucking cunt, and had to go the whole way through the show without drinking the water because I was choking for it.
Yeah.
But I couldn't let it go. So I ended up doing, I think I did like 15 minutes. I didn't do most of the show. And then on top of that, his wife, who was sitting facing the rest of the audience, was then heckling. So she's kind of behind me. And she's fucking throwing dick. And I'm just standing there for an hour, like, fucking cunt. And what's mad about it is that when I put it up on social media, everybody else who was at the gig was like, I can't believe he fucking did that. Like, they all seen it happen. And I don't think any of us got over it for the rest of the hour. We're all just like, and I keep replaying this thing in my head where, like, at the end of the gig, like, put Mike back in the stand and just pick the water up and fuck it around him and then leave. I keep wanting to just go, fuck you.
It's because I didn't realize that there was like intent to, because I said I didn't know the full story, but I didn't realize that he did it out of just trying to be hilarious or whatever the fuck it was.
But it wasn't even that, because it was one of those things where, like, he was making eye contact with me the whole time he was doing it. Do you know what I mean? So you're like, you're one of those cunts, like, that's, you bully people, like, you're a real fucking piece of shit.
Yeah, Macaulay Culkin, fuck's sake. Yeah,
the only time that's ever happened to me once before was whenever I was working in Next in Derry, and they took us all out for a meal, and the manager didn't fucking like me, I didn't like him, but we're sitting across from each other, so it's like a bring your own place somewhere in Derry, and I had a bottle of beer on the table, he just took it and took a sip of it and put it back down, and I was like, do you want one? Because you're going to be wearing it the minute you fucking... Yeah. But again, it's the same thing, like maintained eye contact, and I'm like, you definitely beat your kids.
Yeah, like it's like taking someone's toothbrush and just brushing their teeth. You know what I mean? That's stinking. Like, even
it was just so fucking rude. Like, and again, there's part of me that goes, had he not been so fat, would I have been as annoyed?
Just
like if it was a hot blonde girl, I'd been all, I'll take a wee drink too. But I just couldn't get over the greed of it. I'm like, you're at a fucking bar with a table full of drinks, and the one wee thing that I have to keep myself comfortable during this, you just took it and, like, I'm getting flashbacks again.
Could you imagine the outrage if it had been a pint? Do you reckon it would have been like on Belfast Live or something? You know
my god, he'd have been on, and I killed him if it was a pint.
Yeah, I know.
And around the mic stand, it was big fat arse.
Yeah, there would have been lads coming around. You know what I mean?
It was just the most fucking hateful thing.
Yeah.
But again, there was a whole, I don't know what it was about, like, that sort of end of February, start of March thing, but I had the weirdest cunts in my audience.
Yeah. Was these all tour shows that you were noticing it? Or?
Yeah, it was all tour shows, yeah. So it was like, there was that guy, then there was a woman who was convinced I had COVID-19 because her husband and daughter had gone to Chris Kent's gig that was on the same night down the street.
Right.
So he had a cold and we made a joke about having fucking COVID. Then the next morning I woke up to like 18 tweets. Ranging from Mickey Bartlett, when were you in China, the whole way to like a witch hunt. She's trying to start a fucking witch hunt of like, does no one else think it's rude that Mickey Bartlett does not mention the fact that he definitely has coronavirus? And I'm like,
yeah.
And then
maybe it turned out that actually Mark McCartney had COVID.
Again, so that was the Friday night, the fucking Saturday night, the McCartney gate.
Yeah.
And in Strabane, where like, and the worst bit about the McCartney thing in Strabane was that So yeah, the ones at the gig. Well, the girl who fucking thought I said something or took offense at McCartney's joke, got the wrong end of the stick, then was that drunk, didn't even know who'd said it.
Yeah.
And everybody was like, "Oh, it was Mickey Bartlett," and then everyone who wasn't at the gig piles on me on Facebook. So I'm sitting in the house eating crisps, watching it.
Yeah.
Like, couldn't wait until like, because I've never been so right about anything in my life. Do you know what I mean? It was one of those like, I am so in the fucking right here. This is amazing.
Yeah, you could wank it, like, no bother.
Right, but then there was a girl who was at the show in Derry the night before, messaged me on Instagram, going, "You made a woman cry tonight in Strabane. I thought that joke was distasteful last night whenever you said it. I can't remember exactly what you said, but I thought it was very distasteful." And I'm writing back like, "What did I say?" Because it wasn't my joke. It was, I explained the whole situation. And again, instead of this woman going, "All right, fair enough," she was going, "I wasn't drunk. Hey, don't fucking call me a liar. Don't fucking..." And I'm like, at no point did I say any of these things.
I've said fuck all.
Do you know what I mean? I've
literally said fuck all, yeah.
Exactly, yeah. Like, there's jokes in my show you should definitely be offended about, but it wasn't that one.
Yeah.
And again, then when it all came, the next day on Facebook, when it all just fucking like smack in the face, boom, look how wrong you, and not one of them said sorry.
I know, man. It's
a real like.
Yeah, and again, it just boils down to like social media. People can chime in. It's the same like that delay thing, where obviously someone heard about the delay thing, and then they're like, "Well, he actually played a paedophile in the most recent season of You," and then someone's like, "He was an episode of Workaholics. He played one as well, and he's a method actor."
There was stuff that I seen then on fucking Twitter last night where they're like, they starts talking shit about like Brian Callen. They're going like, "Where do you see he probably if he's just made a bet he's fucking abusing kids and stuff as well?" And you're like, now you're fucking accusing somebody who's got nothing to do with it.
Yeah, it's like he's not the basis in lost profits. You know?
Do you know what I mean? It's fucking. There's so many times where it is. It's one of like I've always said. If I didn't do comedy for a living, I wouldn't have social media. And part of me is like, if they say, right, we can't have gigs back for another year, I'll be like, fuck it, I'm just not doing it anymore, and let's cancel.
Absolutely,
it's the most poisonous fucking thing I think they've ever happened to people.
Yeah, it's annoying because it's taken such a precedence in comedy and how you could sort of gauge your success is pumping out online content. But like it's definitely a weakness of mine is doing that, because I'll put something up if I think it's funny, but I don't want to be one of those people that has to keep pumping out stuff all the time because they feel, well, this news story broke, I'll need to do something on it. Like if I do a sketch once a year, that's grand for me. Like
I'm kind of like, I was doing wee funny Instagram stories at the start of this, and then now I'm like, there's only so many times you can do shit like that before you go, I'm bored as fuck.
Yeah.
But the thing that's always annoyed me with social media, I remember like when it first sort of, like when Facebook and stuff first became really big.
Yeah.
There was a girl I was going out with, we were lying in bed, and she had a BlackBerry, and I had a BlackBerry, and she went, "You didn't like my Facebook status?" And I was like, "Aye, because I'm sitting beside you, and I fucking told you I liked it."
Yeah. I was a recipient.
I mean, I was like, in real life, in 3D, with smells and all, I told you I like what you said there.
Yeah.
And you're like, go on your phone and like it. So, and I'm like, I remember, that's always stuck in my head, because I always remember thinking, it's never going to get this, like, it's never going to get that bad.
Yeah.
And then 10 years later, you're like, everybody's like that.
Yeah.
Like phoning you up, like my status, what?
I love that it's just like, you didn't like my status. And like, well, the proof that I liked the status is over the small of your back right now. So.
I know, yeah. You didn't like my status. I fucking licked your fanny.
You said
I liked it.
You said a bit more bluntly than what I did. So you want to lick them off clean off you?
You didn't put that on Facebook, did you?
Selfie with a dude. Fucking hell. It's right beside it.
I love how we went from Crystal A to that as well.
Do you know what I mean? Because if you start a fanny selfies become a thing, you'll get people just doing fake ones, and where you're like, is that a fanny or is that just a big slice of gammon?
Your poor wife.
Oh, don't chat. Yeah. I remember the social media thing when I was working in the shop. This blows my mind to this day. Do you know what a QR code is? You know, like those barcodes you can scan. We introduced that, and I feel like you got it on our Facebook page, and you got a quid off a fucking bacon bap or whatever it was. And some old fella wanted the cheaper bacon bap, but he was like, that should be £1. And I was like, well, you need the QR code from Facebook. He was like, I don't have Facebook. And I was like, well, it's a Facebook thing, so sorry, but I can't do nothing for you. And he goes off on this whole tirade about how Mark Zuckerberg and my manager in Central Malone Road were working together. I don't know if you ever heard me talk about it on stage, but he
it.
was just like, oh, they're in cahoots. And I'm like, are they? You know what I mean? My manager from Banbridge and Zuckerberg are big pals.
At the Bilderberg meeting. Yeah, Mark, I have an idea.
Right. Let's go to the coach.
Stay with me. Another cigar? Yes, please. Here's what we do.
More gammon, sir.
You know bacon, you know sandwiches, right?
Combination.
Yeah, you're going to have £7 billion and £12 by then.
For the way we live today, boys. Well,
fucking hell.
So, what's your plans then for the rest of the weekend? Are you up to much? Are you house drinking? Or?
No, I'm not going to drink this weekend. I think I'm going to have a wee hangover pizza tonight, and then The Last of Us 2 is coming. Game for the PlayStation, so I'm probably going to spend the weekend playing shooting zombies.
Lovely stuff, man. Thank you very much for coming on. Hope you enjoyed it.
Anytime, man. Yeah, anytime.
Yeah, and stay safe and keep washing your hands. And
same to yourself. Stay indoors and reduce, reuse, recycle.
Yeah, and just keep washing. Just wash everything. Like I'm at the stage now where like I have to bleach the shopping.
Aye.
Do you know what I mean? We're like not obviously the raw vegetables. Raw vegetables is just raw vegetables is just cauliflower. raw vegetables is just cauliflower with a balaclava on it. But yeah, stay safe, man, and I will see you very soon, hopefully, and we'll do a wee gig or a lock of pints or something.
Aye, definitely. Fucking tell the wife I said hello.
I will indeed. Up the gammon.
Up the gammon, mate. All the best.
See you soon, man. Take it easy.
Yeah, bye.
One love.